Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. Of course, this being your Tuesday edition, your Thankful Tuesday edition, and we are keeping the focus on health because this morning we're going to be talking about the health-related quality of life amongst persons on hemodialysis in TNT. And so joining me this morning is a PhD student and lecturer at the Department of Agricultural Economics, Miss Patrice Prout. Miss Prout, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
This is a mouthful. Health-related quality of life amongst persons on hemodialysis in TNT. First of all, what is hemodialysis? Let's start there.
Persons who have renal failure, they are often required to do dialysis at least 3 times for the week.
Right.
And hemodialysis is one type of dialysis treatment. It's the most popular one in Trinidad at the moment. So a lot of persons who have renal failure would now have to require to do this dialysis treatment at least 3 times for the week.
Yeah. What does it entail?
Okay, so basically our kidneys is responsible for filtering the waste out of the body. So in order for that to happen, if it is that your kidney is not functioning, what the dialysis machine does, it acts as a temporary kidney. So persons will now have to get the treatment done where it filters the waste out of the blood, and they are now able to function a little better with the malfunction within the kidneys.
Now we're talking about a healthy related quality of life.
Yeah.
How can people, maintain that sort of healthy life?
Okay, so with health-related quality of life, it looks at a host of different factors. So within this particular area, I would have looked at what persons would consume, how it is that their financial situation can impact what they eat, and their ability to maintain the diet that they would be required to have.
Right.
So all of this would have stemmed from being a part within the department.
Yes.
Yes.
Now I understand that you're a PhD student. Tell us about your research.
Okay, so I am a PhD student at the Department of Agricultural Economics and Extension under the Faculty of Food and Agriculture. Within that faculty, we offer a host of different programs. One of the programs would be Human Nutrition and Dietetics at the BSc level, which I would have done, and then became a registered dietitian, and now doing a PhD in human ecology. So this PhD program really looks at I had an interest for renal when I was doing my 1-year internship to become a registered dietitian. And because of that, I pursued it at the postgraduate level.
Because that was going to be my next question. You mentioned agriculture and stuff, and then you're also talking about renal failure and treatments. I was wondering how you got involved in that. But what it is, do you have like a personal sort of connection to it, or it just interests you from the get-go?
So I had a personal interest because I had a family member who would have been diagnosed with renal failure. But even before that, during that 1 year, because after you do the BSc Human Nutrition and Dietetics, you have the option to go on to do a 1-year diploma to become a registered dietitian, which is what I did.
Yes.
And is within that time frame, you get exposure in areas of food service, clinical, as well as at the community level, where you go to various health centers and provide lectures to persons within different, whether it's chronic disease groups, etc.
Yeah.
So during that time, I would have gotten exposure within the renal aspect of nutrition, and it piqued my interest because I did not see a lot of research being conducted in that area.
Right.
So when I decided to pursue a postgraduate program within my faculty, I decided that I wanted to focus on renal.
So you can do something like that. You can have that particular PhD, right? But then you can also focus on something different. Is that how it works at
So
UWI?
the human ecology program that we offer at the PhD, so there's an MPhil program that we offer where persons can proceed to a PhD level,
Right.
or you can go straight to the PhD level in human ecology. And you can now provide research in an area of interest to you. So within that program, I am actually focusing on nutrition. So there's a nutritional component to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now you're a registered dietitian, and there's also a nutritionist. There's a difference between the two,
Yes,
is there?
so the registered dietitian would have to do that 1-year program that I spoke about before that would qualify them to become registered with the board of Trinidad and Tobago. Whereas a nutritionist can go on not being a registered dietitian, but they can do a master's in nutrition or public health, which would allow them to work within the community areas, and they can give lectures, but a dietitian would be the one that will deal directly with our patients institutions, giving them these guidelines as it relates to what meal preps and how they go about doing it.
Interesting. And so can you be a dietitian? Because I know that some people are marrying dietitian with also fitness and health. And so can you marry the two? Is there possible to do that?
Nutrition is a very diverse field.
Yes.
So when we look at our BSc Human Nutrition Dietetics, for example, we offer a host of different courses within that degree program that will give persons exposure in different areas. So you would have exposure in things such as human physiology and anatomy, food service, nutrition, medical nutrition therapy. All of these are areas that you would touch on within the BSc area. Now, after finishing that BSc area, persons can diversify their field. So some persons don't choose to become a registered dietitian, but you can go on to do a postgraduate program in a different area. So it really gives you a touch of multiple areas that link nutrition and agriculture together, because the both of them go hand in hand. What you eat affects how your body functions.
Yeah. Now, as a registered dietitian and also somebody who understands kidney disease and renal failure, I mean, what is the end game for you? Is it attached to a hospital, a community? Where do you see yourself going?
Research. I love research.
Yes.
So this is why I really love the Department of Agricultural Economics and Extension, because it gives you that opportunity to get engaged. So not only do we have our students doing their thesis and being a part of the courses, but there's also opportunity for you to be engaged in other areas as well within the department. So we have a host of different programs that would give persons that exposure.
Tell us about the other programs that are available.
So we also have programs in agribusiness. So there's a BSc in agribusiness, which persons can get into. So sometimes persons might come into the department and they're not sure what area they want to get into. We recently started our certificate in human ecology, which would allow persons within the CSEC area. So once you completed your O-levels, you can come in and do this one-year certificate and now be able to gain entry into any of our degree programs that we have. We also offer majors and minors within the faculty as well. So we have areas such as entrepreneurship. We also have food service systems management. So these are just some of the areas that we offer within the department.
Patrice, I'm interested in how you got started. Now, I understand that you did the 1 year and you're a registered dietitian, but when you entered the UWI, was it were you looking at nutrition, or were you somewhere else and you eventually found your footing?
So I always had a love for nutrition, but initially I wanted to go into another area. But when I applied, I got through with nutrition. And because I always had a passion for it, I decided I would continue on that path. And I do not regret because it has given me a host of opportunities being a part of the department.
Can you speak to some of the job possibilities there are for people who come through the agribusiness department? What other sectors can they take when they get their degree and that sort of thing?
Okay, so persons can branch off into a host of different areas. Some persons choose to get into teaching, so that is an option as well. Some of them also go on to work within the hospital setting as dietitians. Persons can also go on to do postgraduate programs, become a public health nutritionist. We also have persons who branch off into research, branch off into medicine. So it's a host of different areas. Some persons even go on to opening their own business as well.
Now, I've realized over the years, the focus has changed. So, for example, long ago when you enter UWI, it's HR, it's business admin, that sort of thing. And so now we have the agribusiness department, we have nutrition, diet, that sort of thing. Tell us the importance of people entering that sort of sector as opposed to the traditional ones that we usually see.
Well, for example, within Trinidad and Tobago, there is a need for more persons getting engaged in agribusiness, for example, entrepreneurship, and even nutrition. So these are growing fields. They're very dynamic, and they continue to modify as time goes by. So these areas are areas of interest because it not only allows you to just focus on nutrition alone or agriculture alone, but you can branch off and you can diversify and pull multiple areas into that one area. So you might start off with a BSc in agribusiness, for example, but then you might want to now loop that agribusiness with something else. So whether it's extension, whether it's food science, different areas that persons can now pool into it to now diversify it and add more to it.
Interesting. And because I know that you're doing the research, I have to ask you, for those who are listening, how can you ensure that you keep your kidneys healthy so that you can get that flow in your body all the time?
So within Trinidad and Tobago, we have a high percentage of persons that are affected by high blood pressure, hypertension, and diabetes. And these are the leading causes for renal failure. So a lot of persons that would have a renal failure would tell you that they would have had diabetes or hypertension before. So the focus is really on ensuring that the foods that we select and the types of meals that we have, that it focuses on reducing the sodium as well as the sugar content. So that is a main focus, as well as physical activity and ensuring that your diet is balanced. All of these would help.
And Patrice, before you go, just tell us if we need to reach out to the department, a number, website address you can share?
Okay, so in addition to just the department, we have on the 8th and 9th of July, we have an open day, which would allow persons to come into the university and gain exposure into all of the different areas that we have programs. All of the faculties will be a part of these open day sessions, both our undergraduate and postgraduate.
Right.
So persons who are interested in different areas, or maybe you're not even sure what area you want to branch off into, you can come to these open days and be able to help to figure out what areas you would want to be a part of. If persons would like to contact our department, they can contact us at 662-2002-82094.
That's the extension.
Yes.
Patrice, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Continue with your research. I think our country needs it, and all the best to you in the future. I can just imagine the things you're about to do. So thank you so
very much.
And that was Ms. Patrice Prout, of course, a PhD student and also a lecturer attached to the Department of Agriculture Economics at the UWI. You're on the Now Morning Show, but stay with us because up next we have Shamla with Unique Not Different.